Greetings! Yes, it's another reaction from your British family. I'm Mr. H and you are my friends. And it's another Lost in the Pond reaction video of the YouTube sensation that is Laurence Brown. And today's video is entitled 7 Myths British People Believe About America, Part 3. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok or Twitter. And you can also talk to us on our Discord. Links in the pinned comments. Right, that's enough of my peddling. Let's get on with the video.
Hello, this video is sponsored by BritBox, the premier streaming service for Britain's most beloved TV shows. I'm Laurence Brown and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to myths.
Just very quickly, I've actually ordered that Laurence t-shirt. That was a really bad impression. I've actually ordered that. And when it comes in, I will be wearing it for all the Lost in the Pond reactions.
Specifically, myths that British people like me believed about the United States of America. For those not keeping count, this is part 3 in the series. As is customary, I'll link to part 2 at the end of this video, and if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, do that now. Without further ado, here are 7 myths that British people believe about the United States of America, part 3.
All Americans are rich. I think before doing this channel, I probably would have thought that as well. Lots of people, some Americans don't even have running water. It's just mind-blowing. An amazing superpower that is America. You know, some of their citizens don't even have running water or are living in poverty. Really sad.
This is a sort of weird one. I think the notion that all Americans are super rich, for me, comes from the fact that I was brought up in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of the films that came out of Hollywood at that time seemed to depict American families as super wealthy and, you know, just excessive expenditure. I'm thinking of things like Home Alone, where you have this huge family in this huge house, or any sitcom in the 90s that seemed to vaguely be set in New York City, in which people lived in these massive apartments while simultaneously working in a coffee shop. But since then, I've come to find that there's actually varying degrees of wealth throughout the entire country. In fact, there's probably more awareness these days in Britain that the United States has this huge gap between the super rich and the poor, and that for every giant house lived in by the McAllister family, there are homeless encampments in major cities. There are people living paycheck to paycheck, as I did myself for many years. In some ways, it feels like most Americans aren't rich, depending on how you define rich.
I think the gap between the ultra poor and the ultra rich is just, particularly in this country, has never been bigger. Never, ever, ever been bigger, and it's really sad. And we need to be looking after people that have come out of the military, homeless people, anyone struggling. Everyone is like Florida man. I've never thought that.
Here's the thing, right? When I lived in England and you get these kind of news stories coming from America that, you know, some dude rode an alligator through a shopping mall to steal some jewelry for his cousin who he was also married to. That sort of thing helped to build up this kind of stereotype in your head about Americans in general. And in recent...
I think you kind of think there are some like real crazy people in America that just do crazy things. But I think wherever you go, there's going to be people like that. But yes, this is funny. Florida man accused of stealing over $1,000 worth of toothbrushes and throws them off a bridge.
Years, when that kind of story drops, it usually falls under the category of Florida man, which, you know, might be unfair to Florida, I don't know, might be unfair to men. But I suppose there's a perception that Florida produces a higher ratio of these kinds of stories, probably because they have more alligators. But anyway, rest assured that those kind of stories make it to England because they're so extreme, and because they're so extreme, that means that most Americans aren't like this. In hindsight, I suppose that's pretty obvious, but sometimes you've just got to cut through the perceptions that are created by the news.
Americans applaud at the cinema. I don't know. I think it depends. I think it really depends on the movie. You know, I probably would have applauded, you know, watching one of the Star Wars films, like Rogue One in particular, when Darth Vader comes out and just absolutely just kicks ass.
In a previous video, I talked about the American tendency to applaud at the end of films. But in hindsight, I'm not sure they really do all that often. I feel like I've only seen it happen once, and that was at the end of a Star Wars film, and us Star Wars fans are quite fanatical.
Whoa. Me and Laurence, we're on the same page. I'm a bit older than Laurence, but Yes, we are on the same page. That was weird.
Right, I didn't see too many people clap their hands at Phantom Thread. It doesn't mean that they didn't enjoy it. They might even have found it a bit weird. But the fact is, most American cinema goers don't reach the end of the film and go, oh yeah, kick ass! They just sort of, you know, take it in, like British cinema goers. In fact, on the whole, I'm not sure there's too much difference in the way that British and American cinema goers behave. Both countries have those people who talk too loud or check their phone or spill popcorn everywhere. That's me. The popcorn person is me. Anyways.
Yellow school buses aren't real? Aren't real? Yellow school buses aren't real. Oh, wow. I've not heard that one. I mean, I know yellow buses are real. It was a very surreal moment when I first saw one all those years ago. But yeah.
Aha, this is a huge one that British people like me believe, in fact, it's probably just me, that these yellow school buses that you see in films, from Superman to Forrest Gump to every other one, was just a made-up movie trope like the 555 area code. But not only are these buses very, very real, they are found throughout the entire country, to the extent that I even did a video on how they became standardized. Their mustard yellow colour was specifically chosen because it was determined that this colour was the most visible to fellow drivers and therefore would result in fewer accidents. American yellow school buses are as real as red London buses. Let me know in the comments below which you think is more iconic.
All Americans are arrogant.
Every now and again, you will hear it said that Americans are arrogant, right? This broad sweeping statement that all Americans are arrogant. And I think
it's a real dangerous statement when you like tarnish anyone with a brush, like all British people are this, all Americans are that. It's never true. You only ever hear about like the Florida man, for instance, and things like that. But yeah. Guys, if you're enjoying this video as much as me, please consider liking this video.
I think the thing is, the full spectrum of personality traits can be found in all countries.
Yeah.
It's like saying all Americans are selfless or all Americans are shy. I mean, sure, I've encountered the odd, sometimes very odd, arrogant American. But the same was true, perhaps to an equal extent, in Britain.
Yeah.
Just with British people, not Americans. Perhaps the perception arises from the fact that arrogant people tend to do or say things that gets people's attention and therefore is packaged up into a neat and tidy clickbait article that helps to once again further propagate this idea that all Americans are the same way.
Americans all have amazing teeth. It's mainly like TV shows and films. You know, we watch Home Alone the other day. It's most noticeable that the teeth aren't as white as they are in like a modern day sort of film or TV program, but they're all like the California smile, amazingly white teeth. But it's not like that. Not all Americans are like that.
And, you know, the world of entertainment probably does that for this, the perception that all Americans have perfectly white teeth. And I know what you're thinking, ooh, Laurence, anybody's teeth look perfect next to the British. But, you know, studies have found that we have some of the healthiest teeth, so who's laughing now? Not us, but for your benefit. Now, the truth is that American dentistry does favour a more aesthetically driven approach to teeth maintenance. So, while teeth are developing, most kids will wear braces, and many Americans whiten their teeth with teeth whiteners. But some Americans have bad or wonky teeth, right? I'm not going to name names, but Chainsaw Jim looks like he hasn't been to the dentist in 40 years. It's just that America doesn't have a tendency to slap those people on the front of magazines.
Yeah. American is all sunshine and beaches, yeah. And again, I think it's, as alluding to what Laurence said earlier, growing up, particularly in the 80s, it was always, the sun always shined. Very happy, you know, kids were happy going to school. They didn't wear school uniforms, you know, the sunshine, they get off the school bus and enjoy the day and playing sports and everything sort of sunshine and happiness. And, you know, we look out the window and it's like rain.
And finally, before I moved here, I had this impression that America was all palm trees and beaches, which is weird because I've seen the film The Shining. I think a big part of that, though, is that a lot of films that come out of the United States are in fact filmed in California. which does have a lot of palm trees and beaches. The problem is there's this huge part in the middle of the country that isn't on the coasts. And that middle part tends to be a sort of petri dish for the worst weather you've ever seen. That's why I have to endure about 4 tornado warnings every year. That's why there's all this snow and low temperatures at this time of year, and why you should watch my November special for more information.
Good video,
Basically, America is a rich tapestry of all kind of weather patterns. Not to mention topography. For all of the beaches that you have on its admittedly long coastline, there are places that many humans can't even set foot. Then there are places that most humans could set foot but choose not to because there's nothing for 100 miles.
So diverse.
The perception that I previously developed that it's all sunshine and beaches probably comes from the fact that I craved sunshine and beaches when I lived in Britain, despite the fact that it's also a myth that it perpetually rains there.
What did you think of that video? If you did enjoy it, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and be notified every time we upload a new video. Guys, what did you think? If you've got anything to add to this, let me know. If there's anything you agree with, anything you disagree with, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Guys, just a heartfelt message just to say thank you to all of you guys, Patreons, members, subscribers, viewers. If this is your first time watching us, we bloody love you. Sending out so much peace, happiness, health, positives across the pond from my family to yours. Have a wonderful day. And all that leaves me to say is take care, God bless. And I'll see you in the next video.